Money and its psychology. Morgan Housel's book, The Psychology of Money, offers advice on how to manage money so that attracting it becomes natural. Understanding the psychology of this item might help one attract a lot of money. Only those who understand the laws of the game of money can access it. It is not rare. Learn the psychology of money and attract wealth by reading this book right now. Why do we believe that those who are wealthy lead substandard lives? Additionally, some people who have less money end up becoming millionaires. Whether we like it or not, the financial decisions we make now will affect our finances in the near future. Why not take advantage of the first mover advantage and learn about the psychology of money? For this reason, we will discuss Morgan Housel's book, The Psychology of Money. This book examines the relationship between money and human conduct, providing a distinctive viewpoint on personal finance. Housel explores the intricate relationship between people and their finances, in contrast to many conventional personal finance publications that focus on subjects like stock selection or portfolio construction. Instead of only evaluating interest rates, Housel provides insight into why people struggle with debt and financial management by looking at the historical elements of greed, insecurity, and optimism. Why read this synopsis? I have to commend you for posing such a perceptive query. As someone who loves books, I like to read them carefully, take notes, try out their lessons, and then summarize the ones that had the biggest influence on me. If you're familiar with my Readers Books Club YouTube channel, you'll see how deeply I delve into books and try to get the most out of them. I've also put the same amount of effort into this book, and the result is the synopsis you're reading right now. Overview. Behavior, not just intelligence, is what determines financial management success. This book warns against harmful habits, while highlighting the significance of forming beneficial behaviors that produce favorable results. To take advantage of these lessons, you don't need to be well off or educated. Each of the book's chapters examines a distinct aspect of human behavior or attitude toward money. Readers can learn a lot about their own financial habits by analyzing these activities and how they affect personal budget. Everyone can benefit from the teachings in the book, regardless of their educational background or financial situation. The author highlights that patience, discipline, and a readiness to embrace positive habits are necessary for financial success. There are 12 important lessons in the book that provide helpful advice on how to improve one's financial circumstances. From the perils of overconfidence to the advantages of taking a long-term view of investments, these lessons address a wide range of subjects. Readers can cultivate a more positive attitude toward personal finance and enhance their relationship with money by reading this book and putting its lessons into practice. The positive attitudes and actions described in the book can put readers on the road to long-term financial security, even though financial success might not happen right away. First lesson: nobody is crazy. Individual experiences, morals, and outside influences all influence how each person sees the world. One's own circumstances, which may only account for a small portion of global events, have a significant impact on how they perceive the world. On the other hand, these experiences can significantly influence one's worldview, which can account for as much as 80% of one's ideas about how the world functions. The potency of emotions like dread and anxiety cannot be adequately replicated by education or open-mindedness. Even people who think they know a lot about the world have only seen a small part of it, and this lack of experience might cause misconceptions or poor decisions. Take low-income households in the United States, for instance, who spend an average of $400 a year on lottery tickets. People in higher-income homes may find this number illogical, but it is hard to comprehend the reasoning behind the behavior until you are in their position. People may use the argument that they are paying for hope and a dream to defend their lottery ticket purchases. However, it is difficult to completely understand low-income households' motivations for such behavior if one does not share their circumstances. Individual experiences ultimately determine how people perceive the world, and these perceptions can differ greatly from person to person. Lesson 2: risk and luck. Effort is not the only factor that determines success. Risk and luck frequently have a big impact on personal results. For instance, consider the Bill Gates story. In 1968, one of the few high schools in the world possessing a computer was Lakeside High School, where Gates was a student. However, Gates' professional success was made possible by a teacher named Bill Dougall's attempts to purchase a $3,000 teletype computer. Gates admits this when he says, "There would not have been Microsoft if there had not been Lakeside High School." Bill Gates, Paul Allen, and Kent Evans were three of Lakeside's most notable computer students and pals. Sadly, Kent Evans lost his chance to realize his full potential when he died in an accident prior to graduating. This is an illustration of terrible luck. There is no denying that risk and luck both affect personal results. However hard one works, the truth is that outside factors will always influence one's success. The world is too complicated to let one person's actions determine all of their results. As a result, one's achievement may frequently be more impacted by the unintentional effects of events beyond their control than by their own efforts. Lesson 3. Insufficient. A debate between writers Kurt Vonnegut and Joseph Heller at a billionaire's party emphasizes the concept of having enough. Vonnegut noted that the billionaire earns more money in a day than Heller did from his best-selling book. But in response, Heller said he had something the billionaire will never have enough of. Understanding when to quit shifting the goalpost is the most difficult financial skill. We frequently evaluate ourselves against others, which might cause jealousy. Wealth and jealousy are two things that capitalism excels at producing, but social comparison is a never-ending process. Someone with greater wealth or position than you will always exist. Having enough entails being aware of when to refrain from taking chances that could lead to regret. Regardless of the possible rewards, there are a lot of things in life that are not worth the risk. Your reputation, independence, family and friends, love, and happiness are a few examples. Avoiding the game is the only way to win. The secret to happiness and financial success is knowing when to give up and having the self-control to do so. Confounding compounding in Lesson 4. Being a successful investor for more than 75 years is not the only factor contributing to Warren Buffett's financial success. Time, which enabled compounding to do its magic, is his secret. To be a good investor, you must not just make large returns but also steady profits that you can repeat over time. Longevity and consistency are essential components that allow compounding to yield outstanding outcomes. But obtaining and retaining money are two different problems that call for different approaches and ways of thinking. Risk-taking, optimism, and putting oneself out there are all essential for accumulating wealth. However, in order to hold on to riches, one needs to be humble and fear that their financial accomplishment could be lost in an instant. To safeguard one's money, this calls for implementing risk management techniques and a conservative outlook. Lesson 5. Making money versus maintaining it. Venture entrepreneur Michael Moritz asserts that we shouldn't count on tomorrow to be the same as today. It is dangerous to get too cozy or complacent and assume that past achievements would inevitably translate into future success. Instead of depending only on our prior successes, we must keep moving forward and aiming for success. 3 factors are necessary for having a survival mindset. Be able to withstand market fluctuations and remain in the game long enough for compounding to do its magic if you want to be financially invincible. The most crucial thing to anticipate is that things won't go as planned. A well-thought-out plan allows for mistakes. Your financial plan gets increasingly flimsy the more you depend on certain components of it to be accurate. Have a positive outlook on the future, but be wary of the challenges that stand in your way. Lesson 6. You win with tales. Renowned art collector Heinz Berggruen possessed an impressive collection of paintings by well-known artists like Matisse, Picasso, Braque, and Klee. His ability to invest in art was much acclaimed, but in practice, he bought a huge amount of work, and only a small percentage of it was valued. Berggruen was able to accomplish great achievement even though he was frequently mistaken. The reason for this is that anything that is significant, lucrative, well-known, or powerful is the consequence of a tail event, which is an occurrence that happens once in a million or once in 1,000. In the venture capital model, investors anticipate that the majority of their investments will fail, a small number will perform admirably, and just 1 or 2 will provide returns for the fund. Comparably, in the stock market, the majority of publicly traded companies fail, a select few perform fine, and a tiny percentage produce exceptional profits. It is natural for many things to go wrong, break, fail, and fall because everything in business, investing, and finance is driven by tails. Accepting this fact helps you realize that controlling risk and exposure to tail events, rather than completely avoiding failure, is the key to success. Lesson 7. What you can't see is what you have. A common misconception is that wealth is only possessing a lot of money or assets. But it's crucial to understand that wealth is a combination of your possessions and your decisions about how to use them. It is the monetary asset that has not been transformed into tangible goods or experiences. People frequently say they want to be billionaires, but in reality, they just want to spend $1 million. In actuality, being a millionaire is the exact opposite of spending $1 million. The manner that people use their resources is the real indicator of whether they are rich or wealthy. Those who are wealthy frequently flaunt their possessions by living in huge homes and driving expensive cars. Due to their often large wages, they are able to indulge in the luxuries they seek and spend freely. True wealth, however, is frequently concealed and less obvious. The amount of revenue that is saved as opposed to spent is known as wealth. It's the freedom, adaptability, and expansion that result from having resources on hand for later use. When people are wealthy, they can buy things whenever they need or want to, free from the stress and strain of having limited funds. Lesson 8. Conserve cash. 3 categories of individuals, beyond a particular income threshold: people who save, those who doubt their ability to save, those who do not believe that they must save. Your savings rate is more important in personal finance than your income or investment returns. You have power over how much you save, and it can make a big difference in your financial health. It's crucial to concentrate on what suits you rather than worrying about what other people think. In the modern world, having greater control over your time and choices is becoming more and more important. While money cannot buy you freedom, it can buy you flexibility and financial stability. You may build a safety net that enables you to make decisions consistent with your values and objectives by making saving a priority. Lesson 9. Reasonable, logical, and allowable for mistakes. Aiming for total cold reason when making financial judgments is unattainable. Being reasonably rational should be the aim instead. In the long run, this strategy is more realistic and durable, which is essential for efficient money management. The likelihood of earning money rises with time. This is due to the fact that unexpected events can occur at any time. It's crucial to keep in mind, though, that past achievement does not ensure future outcomes. Players in poker and blackjack are aware that they are working with probability rather than absolutes. Anticipating that things won't go as planned is the wisest course of action. Navigating a world when odds are against you requires having a margin of safety or space for mistake and redundancy. It's difficult to prepare for the unexpected as it's impossible to foresee every possible scenario. However, by minimizing single points of failure, you can lessen the consequences of failure. Relying just on a paycheck to cover immediate expenses without any savings is the worst financial mistake. Having a rainy day fund that can be used for unforeseen needs is a smart strategy to prevent this. Lesson 10. You'll be different. We are not very good at predicting who we will be in the future, which makes it difficult to make long-term plans and decisions that work. We might not esteem the same things in the future as we do now. It is important to acknowledge that people are changeable, because they might bind us to our past endeavors and restrict our options for the future. Sunk costs can be harmful. It is important to understand that limiting future losses is more important than making decisions based only on sunk costs. Paying a price is necessary for successful investing, but it's not usually money. Volatility, fear, doubt, uncertainty, and remorse are frequently involved. As a result, many investors avoid investing because they are unable to pay this price. We can change our mindset and become more accustomed to short-term market swings by considering volatility as a cost. Accepting the cost of investing requires a specific mindset, although short-term expenses can be more easily controlled when done with a long-term view. It's crucial to comprehend the actual cost of investing and have the financial means to do so. By doing this, we can build a more flexible and adaptive future rather than becoming prisoners of our previous choices. Lesson 11. Pessimism's seduction. Compared to optimism, pessimism is more prevalent and considered to be more intelligent and intellectually stimulating. It is believed that optimism is blind to danger. The reason for this is that people are inherently inclined to view threats as more pressing than possibilities. Over the course of evolution, this imbalance between good and negative expectations or experiences has aided in the survival and procreation of creatures. A previously unfeasible method of oil extraction became commercially viable in the 2000s as oil prices increased. This is due to the fact that hardship frequently inspires creativity and novel solutions. A recurring trend throughout economic history is that threats incentivize solutions of similar scale. However, pessimists who concentrate on setbacks and disasters, which occur swiftly and significantly, frequently ignore this. It is crucial to keep in mind that compounding, which always takes time, drives slow and steady improvement. On the other hand, loss of confidence and isolated points of failure, which can occur in a matter of seconds, are what cause destruction. Overnight miracles are uncommon, but overnight catastrophes are often. As a result, neither pessimism nor excessive optimism should mislead us. Instead, we ought to have a well-rounded outlook on life and find creative ways to overcome hardship. It is crucial to accept that failures and setbacks are inevitable while keeping an eye on long-term development and success. Lesson 12. Admittance. This lesson highlights how crucial independence is to the author's financial choices in general. A major component of financial success is living within one's means and enjoying free pursuits like learning, reading, exercising, and listening to podcasts. Although it might not be the wisest financial choice, the author acknowledges that having his house outright and mortgage-free gives him peace of mind. To act as a safety net and prevent having to liquidate stock market investments in an emergency, the author maintains 20% of his assets in cash. Charlie Munger once said, "The first rule of compounding is never to interrupt it unnecessarily." This is in line with his philosophy. The author of The Psychology of Money now invests all of his money in inexpensive index funds rather than individual equities. The majority of investors would profit by choosing a strategy that has the maximum chance of achieving their long-term objectives, even though it is difficult for some to surpass the market averages. Investing in a low-cost index fund would be this technique for the majority of investors. In conclusion, the author's financial practices center on being independent, living within one's means, putting mental health first, keeping a safety net, and investing in inexpensive index funds for long-term success. Readers can aim for financial success in their own life by implementing these strategies. Book review: The Psychology of Money. Morgan Housel provides insights into how people view money and the psychological biases that affect our financial choices in The Psychology of Money. He contends that managing our emotions and psychological inclinations is just as important to effective investment as comprehending financial ideas and possessing the appropriate resources. Housel writes in an interesting style and illustrates his ideas with anecdotes and real-world experiences. He talks on how crucial it is to refrain from making snap decisions, cultivate a long-term outlook, and recognize the part luck plays in financial success. The book's emphasis on the value of forming sound habits and taking a consistent approach to investing is one of its strong points. Housel contends that having a high IQ or insider knowledge is not a prerequisite for effective money management. Rather, they typically take a methodical and deliberate approach to making investments based on good ideas and having a clear idea of their objectives.